let's talk about that launch window. We'll get to earnings in a second, but let's talk about that launch window that opens up later this month, starting August 27th, and does involve the Space Force. It's your next flight, orbital flight. What can folks expect in terms of this launch and in terms of how you're preparing for it?
Well, we shipped the rocket last week, and it arrives on Monday up in Kodiak. We'll be unpacking and getting ready for the launch, which should be beginning this month on August 27th. And we're excited about this launch because we've got a whole bunch of upgrades that we'll be testing. It's a test flight with the Space Test Program from the Space Force. And if it's successful, we have about a dozen more of these rockets rolling off the production line. And we have also plans to launch a total of 3 times this year, and we're on track for all of that.
Which is an aggressive cadence, even for a company that is not about to have a second attempt to orbit. So given the fact that you did actually launch one time before, last December, you did reach space, but you didn't reach orbit, what kind of upgrades or changes have been made to the rocket to ensure that this mission is successful?
Well, we've been able to tune our engines so that we'll use all of the fuel in both of the stages, which was the primary reason we fell just short of orbit last year. And we've made a number of other upgrades to increase the reliability and the performance of the rocket. So this one's truly one we're excited to put into production and start launching for customers later this year.
Let's talk a little bit about your earnings results. First time as a new publicly traded company. I mean, we have this conversation all the time on the show, this idea that space is hard, it's time consuming, it can be capital intensive. So it's very interesting to see a company such as yours now come to the public markets. How is that process, getting on earnings calls, talking to public investors? How is that different than what you experienced before this merger was complete?
Well, I think we're really just focused on telling our story. We have a huge backlog of customers. We start to recognize revenue as we start to launch those customers into the orbits and deliver for them. So we're focused on execution right now, telling that story when we've got the rocket shipped out on schedule to launch this summer. This is the story that we've been sharing with investors all along, and it's great to be on track. Certainly makes that easier. Have a fantastic CFO, Kellen Brannon, who's taken 2 companies public already. So she was right by my side, and it was fantastic. We have a lot of great investors, great analysts that are covering the company.
The last time you and I spoke, I believe you said that you had something like 50 launches in your backlog. Since then, just this week even, you've announced more commercial launch deals as well, not just the DoD. Spire, which itself is getting ready to go public via SPAC next week. I think there's a shareholder meeting for that company today. One of those new customers. How large is that manifest now?
Well, the manifest is growing, and also the pipeline is growing. And we're excited that many of the customers like Planet and Spire that we've announced are also going public. And that means they'll have more resources to launch more satellites and serve their customers better. So space tech is really an exciting place to be right now with a number of companies that will be public here in the next few months.
In terms of your production cadence as well, I mean, you mentioned the fact that you're looking to do 3 launches before the year is out. How quickly can you make these rockets now?
We can make rockets at a rate of about 1 per month today, and the factory is tripling in size. We started construction a few weeks ago to increase our production rate to 1 per week, and that will, with the rocket that we're building today, allow us to ultimately reach a rate of 1 per day out of the existing production facility in Alameda, California.